Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and I'm here to show you some pages that I've done over the past month for Journal 52. Again, I'm doing that again, and I'm using paper, which is Hanson Mixed Media paper. Last year I did Journal 52, and I didn't get very far in it because I packed up all my art stuff because we were selling the house. And then we moved, and then my stuff was in storage, and so I was going to go back when we finally got a house and got my stuff. I was going to go back and do all the prompts that I missed, but there were too many prompts that I missed, so I forget it. So I decided to, do it again for this year. So I'm using the same book that I made, using the same papers and stuff like that. So week 1 was Pathway, and I just laid down some book text and some paint, and I wiped away. I used a stencil with a baby wipe, wiped that off, drew some circles because I don't know why, and then I decided to make some hills. I don't know why, just did it. And I colored the hills with, I think, Distress Paint Forest Moss. I think that's the paint color. It still needs a title or a quote or something like that, but for now it's done. And then week 2, the prompt was just be. And I used a napkin that I got at Tuesday morning, glued it on, and then after that dried, I toned it down with gesso. And then I did some stencils. I don't know if you can see that, with a really light green paint to match the outfit, which are extra pieces that I used for my Smoosh planner for the pocket doll that I used in there. I used the opposite for her in my Smoosh planner, and I have these extra pieces, so I decided to use her on a journal page. I didn't want to throw them out because they're still good pieces. So I glued her on the page. I used her skin is actually from Timeless Type by Cuts with a View, because they have a lot of printed text in that pad. So after I glued her on, I used these alphabet stickers in my stash that said just be you. And then week 3, I sort of protested a little bit because I thought it was a silly prompt. The prompt was conversations you had or overheard. So I didn't do it that week. I did it last week, and I came up, the only thing I could think of was Elvis and his song Little Less Conversation. So I found 3 pieces of retro type paper, glued that on the page, and then I took gesso to tone it down. And then I took the Wow Studio confetti hearts and some craft paint and sponged that on there. And then I stamped Elvis on a white cardstock and colored him in, glued him on. Oh, in the background, before I did that, in the background stamp, I also used from Viva Las Vegas Stamps. I used to have a life, but now I have email. Stamped that with black memento ink. Then I stamped him on white cardstock and glued him on. And then I went looking at my alphabet stickers in my stash and spelled out a little less conversation, a little more action with various alphabet letters. And then last week's was silhouettes. In the background, I used a napkin that I got back in December from our art journaling class. It was silver and white. Glue that down, and then I used a yellow watercolor, tube. I know the name, I can't pronounce it. So I used that, really wasn't happy. Then I laid down Connie Helmuth's pink paint, and then I took some punchinella and with a palette knife used the same pink paint and scrape that on there, and then I dried it and I made it so that it bubbled up, so you got some really cool texture. I don't know if you can see that, the cool texture that I got. And then I did some spraying with black Delusion spray with a big plastic fly swatter that I use for stencils and spraying. And I did that with the black, and I stamped it, you know, the excess ink off the page. And I did the same thing with the bubblegum pink Delusion spray, and I wasn't feeling like, because the spraying just concentrated in this area through the plastic mesh. So I wiped it off, and it made a bigger mess. And that's where I decided to put the silhouette, which is I cut out a magazine image and traced that onto black cardstock and cut that out and glue that on there. And then the girls' night out is actually a napkin. And this, the girls actually, you couldn't really see the word too well, so I took a pink chalk pen and just wrote girls on there. And then this week's, week 5, the prompt was television. So first I laid out a couple types of washi tape, just put it on there, and then I did a layer of green paint, and then I did a layer of purple paint and wiped that with a baby wipe, which you can still see like some of the purple and some of the green. And then I took Viva Las Vegas Stamps, the film strip stamp, and stamped that in a couple places. And then I went through the Disney book and found this image from the story of 101 Dalmatians and cut that out and glued that on there. And then I found this quote from Groucho Marx, which says, "I must say I find television very educational. The minute somebody turns it on, I go to the library and read a good book." So that's this week, and so that's it for now. And I'll be back with another video. Thanks for watching.